Hi, this is Kate, and we're solving inequality word problems. Claire wants to make at least $25 this week. She's babysitting. Which amount will satisfy Claire's goal? At least $25 means she wants to make $25 or more, so $28 will satisfy her goal. If we represent the money she makes with the letter M, which statement means that she makes at least $25? At least $25 means the money that she makes will be greater than or equal to $25. Recall, these symbols mean greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Claire wants to make at least $25 this week. She will make $3 per hour babysitting, and her mom will give her an allowance of $5. What do you think this question is going to ask us to find? We can predict that of greatest interest to Claire will be how many hours she has to babysit to meet her goal. Solving inequalities is much like solving equations, except our answers might be a whole range of values instead of just one value. First, it's good to write down what we want to find and the information the problem provides. We want to find, we're going to call it H, how many hours she needs to babysit. Her mom's going to give her $5. And then she's going to make $3 for every hour she babysits. We've already determined that we want the money she earns to be greater than or equal to $25. Which inequality represents this situation? From babysitting, she'll earn 3 times the number of hours she babysits. Add on to that the $5 her mom gives her. We want that to come out to be greater than or equal to $25. Let's explore what kind of values will work for this inequality. Which number of hours will not work is not a solution. The only unacceptable number of hours in the list is 5 hours. If we substitute in a 5, well, 15 plus 5 is 20, and 20 is not greater than 25. However, if we substitute in the 8, 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 plus 5 is 29. 29 is greater than 25. So we kind of have an idea before we start solving that the minimum number of hours will be somewhere between 5 and 8. Please solve the inequality for H. The number of hours she needs to work is greater than or equal to 6 2/3. Remember, we can solve inequalities just like equations, except for that one difference where if we divide or multiply by a negative number, we need to flip the sign over. But in this case, we just subtract 5 from both sides, so 3h is greater than or equal to 20, and then divide both sides by 3, so the number of hours is greater than or equal to 20/3. 18/3 would be 6 hours, so 20/3 is 6 2/3 hours. We want to make sure we answered the question. Claire needs to babysit for at least 6 2/3 hours, which we could also write as 6 hours and 40 minutes. Some phrases and word problems lead to an obvious inequality, but some are a little trickier. It's important to understand what the statement is saying, compare the two values, and decide which one has to be bigger. If a driver got a ticket because her speed exceeded 75 miles per hour, and we use S to represent speed, which statement is appropriate? Was her speed less than 75? Was it less than or equal to 75? Was it greater than or equal to 75? or was her speed greater than 75 if it exceeded 75 miles per hour? Exceeded means it was bigger than, so S is greater than 75 was correct. Ernest Hemingway's cats had at most 7 toes on any paw. If we represent the number of toes with the variable t, which statement is appropriate? The most they had was 7 toes. So should we say the number of toes was less than 7, less than or equal to 7, greater than or equal to 7, or greater than 7? What do you think? If they had at most 7 toes, that means they had exactly 7 or less. So the number of toes is less than or equal to 7. Even if my boyfriend doubled the pairs of shoes in his closet, I would still have at least as many pairs as he did. If we use B to represent boyfriend's shoes and G to represent my shoes, which statement is appropriate? We're going to double his number of shoes, but I'm still going to have at least as many as he does. After we double his number of shoes, I'm going to have the same number or more. So we can represent that with 2 times B has to be less than or equal to G. This is Kate, and we've been solving inequality word problems.